as we weather the effects of the pandemic. As you know, up here in Canada, we're in that third wave. The country's largest province, Ontario, is particularly hard hit. It's been shut down with a stay-at-home order. And I remember when that happened here where I live in Alberta, one of the things I couldn't get was a haircut. Reporters, though, noticed when Premier Doug Ford showed up at his news conference yesterday, he had significantly shorter hair. Now, all barber shops and hairstylists in that province are closed. So how did the Premier get his locks shorn without violating the stay-at-home order?
I looked like a sheepdog, and so we literally got some dog clippers, and I got it on video to prove it, or I know you guys are going to want to see it, but my daughter that lives at home's never cut anyone's hair in their life. I just sat in the chair and said, honey, go to town. And, we couldn't even figure out how to work these clippers, and I grabbed them and zinged half my head so it's half bald on one side, and that's what happened.
Well, at least his daughter didn't keep cutting till she ran out of hair. Ford also gave a shout out to barbers and hairstylists in the province.
But, on a more serious note, my heart breaks for these barbers and hairstylists, that have been shut down forever. It really does. And I'm going to do everything I can to get you back open. And I promise you, that'll be the last time. As much as my daughter did an incredible job for a rookie, I'm going back to the barbers, and I encourage everyone, just please, when we get back to opening up, these people have been hurting so much as a lot of people. So please just go out when we get open. Go out and get your hair cut and get your hair styled and everything.
The province has at least another 3 weeks before that stay-at-home order is lifted and haircutters can resume working and the Premier can put his dog clippers away. In Edmonton, Canada, Thomas Likness, Eagle News. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Ace.
That surely put a smile on my face. Of all things, dog clippers. Why?
Well, in the first lockdown, he was talking about, because again, dog groomers were allowed to stay open, but hairstylists weren't, and he was pondering as to whether to go to a dog groomer.
Oh, that's why. I remember our discussion, the same chair, same position. We were talking about who was cutting your hair, but I think that was a year ago.
Yeah, and she still is. She still is. That's my wife. But we don't use dog clippers. We don't have a dog, so she actually got some human clippers.
That's good to know. So tell us about the situation there in Ontario, not just the hair situation, the overall.
It's pretty serious in Ontario right now. The province has become the epicenters for this third wave. Case numbers averaging more than 4,000 a day. Hospitals are ready to hang that no vacancy sign at the front door. That's how overcrowded they are. Nearly 1,900 people are being treated for COVID-19 in the hospital, a third of them in intensive care. Now, in Toronto, the shortage of intensive beds is so severe that adult patients are being sent to the Sick Children's Hospital now, to their intensive care unit. And there's fears that there's simply not enough specialized nurses, healthcare technicians to staff these units. And then we got word this morning, a vaccine shortage has forced 2 health networks in Toronto to reduce or cancel appointments at immunization clinics. These clinics also serve some of the communities with the highest rates of infection. So it's going to be a while before those restrictions can be lifted. Ace?
So it's like one problem after the other. So what is the third wave in Canada looking like?
Not good right now. In the last week, we've had more than 57,000 new cases reported. That's a 30% increase from a week earlier. Deaths up by 17% in just 1 week. More people, as I mentioned, are being treated in intensive care units than at any other time since the pandemic began. Now, again, I want to put this into perspective. I remind you, our case numbers might seem small to our American viewers, but remember, we only have 1/10 of the population of the U.S., so multiply it by 10, and that'll give you an idea of how severe it is. As far as vaccines, our immunization rate is 25 among 84 countries that have a population of more than 1 million people. Ace?
Thank you so much for the updates. Thomas Likness, Edmonton, Alberta. Let's